Hi friends, my name is Millie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you the 10 books that I want to read this autumn or spooky season. So I did a video the other day about books that I would recommend for spooky season, but these are books that I want to read in spooky season. So this is going to be kind of different to my October TBR because I'm going to be starting to read these kind of now, like mid-September, and hopefully I'll read some of these before October, and then I'll have a whole new list of spooky season recommendations for you when it comes to actual spooky month. But I'm here with my ghost blanket, I'm here with the pumpkins, I'm here in a very itchy jumper, but that I feel like gives the autumn vibes, to bring you 10 books that I want to read this spooky season, autumn, whatever you want to call it. So the first of which is this gorgeous proof that I was sent by the publisher and didn't get around to reading, even though it came out in January of this year. That was The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. Crystal Sutherland is the author of House of Hollow, which I absolutely adored. Absolutely perfect for spooky season, really creepy, really atmospheric, kind of body horror I feel like it had. This one, as you can see, I think it's a bit witchy. So in this one, 5 women are dead. The killer leaves no fingerprints, no DNA. In a world where only women can use magic, and the men who know about it seek to eradicate them, 3 damaged young women, one cursed, one hunted, one out for revenge, will team up to track down and take out a brutal supernatural killer. I'm pretty sure that the sister of one of the main characters was either the latest victim or the first victim of this serial killer, and that's why she's out for revenge and kind of takes on this responsibility. But I'm really excited. I feel like this is going to be really atmospheric, just like House of Hollow was. This is what the finished cover looked like, and I was actually really lucky that when I went to Bookfest in August, I managed to get it signed and personalised by Crystal Sutherland, which I was so excited about because I love having a signed and personalised book, especially of such a stunning proof that I obviously wouldn't give away anyway or sell or anything, you know, even if I didn't like the book. But I'm just really excited. I feel like this is going to be really fun, well, maybe not fun, really perfect for autumn, for spooky season. The next one is another proof that was actually published this month in September. It has been published, I believe. I think it was published at the start of September, but I read the author's previous 2 books, Hell Followed With Us and The Spirit Bears Its Teeth. I read Spirit Bears Its Teeth last spooky season, and Hell Followed With Us I read back when I first started NetGalley, which was 2022. It was like the very first book that I ever read on NetGalley. But this one is Compound Fracture. So Andrew Joseph White has just been published in the UK by Daphne Press, so all 3 of his books have been picked up. This is the 3rd one, so they're all horror books, and this is another horror book. And it says, monsters don't get to be innocent, monsters don't get to beg for mercy, they don't deserve it. I'm very excited for this. It is a socialist YA horror thriller, which is an interesting mix. On the night Mars Abernathy, 16-year-old socialist and proud West Virginian, comes out as trans to his parents, he sneaks off to a party, carrying evidence that may finally turn the tide of the blood feud plaguing Twist Creek. Photos that prove the county's Sheriff Davies was responsible for the so-called accident that injured his dad, killed others, and crushed their grassroots efforts to unseat him. The feud began 100 years ago, when Mars's great-great-grandfather, Saint Abernathy, incited a miners' rebellion that ended with a public execution at the hands of law enforcement. Now, Miles becomes the feud's latest victim as the sheriff's son and his friends sniff out the evidence, follow him through the woods, and beat him nearly to death. In the hospital, the ghost of a soot-covered man hovers over Miles's bedside, while Sheriff Davies threatens Miles into silence. But when Miles accidentally kills one of the boys who hurt him, he learns of the other folks in Twist Creek who want out from under the sheriff's heel. To free their families from this cycle of cruelty, they're willing to put everything on the line, but is Miles. I'm really excited for this. It's very different to Andrew Joseph White's other books. Hell Followed With Us was a post-apocalyptic dystopian horror novel that had like religious tones. There was a cult that had like destroyed the world basically and taken over and were creating all these monsters. Absolutely incredible. Please read it. The Spirit Bears Its Teeth was a historical horror and set in like Victorian times. There was like spirits and mediumship and stuff. So I really love how Andrew Joseph White is doing something different with all of his books. This one, set in modern times but with ghosts and socialism and a revolution, sounds incredible. I know that Andrew Joseph White writes really, really well, really emotionally. You really feel the gut wrench, like his books really pack a punch. I'm hoping that this one won't have maybe as much body horror as the previous two. I'm not very good with body horror, and those two had it in spades. So I'm hoping that this one won't have that quite so much. We'll see. And the next book perfectly matches my earrings. I don't know if you can see, I have Kiki's Delivery Service earrings on, and they perfectly go with this next book, which is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. So kind of very different to what the previous two books on this TBR were. This is cozy, witchy fantasy, so here for it. Look at this cover. I think this is one of my favourite covers that I've ever seen. It's absolutely stunning. Look at the little cat on the roof. Literally incredible. I do have a pre-order of the Waterstones exclusive edition with like the sprayed edges on its way, but this was the proof that I was sent by the publisher, which I was very, very grateful to receive. And this is all about Belladonna Blackthorn, who hasn't lost her magical spark, but she hasn't seen it in a while either. Struggling to balance working at her beloved Luna books and protecting it from her toxic boss, all while concealing her witchcraft from those around her, Belle is burnt out. Perfecting the potential of her magic is the last thing on her mind. But when her 30th birthday brings a summons from her coven and a trial that tests her worthiness as a witch, Belle risks losing her magic forever. She will need all the help she can get from the women in her life, from an unlikely mentor figure, and even from an infuriating watchman who's sworn to protect her. With found family, slow burn romance, and an uplifting message about self-love, it is a cozy autumnal fantasy that will leave readers spellbound. How cute does that sound? Sounds so adorable. It's giving the Ex-Hex vibes, which was a witchy romance that I read a couple of years ago in spooky season and really, really enjoyed. Really good witchy romance. Very cozy as well. It's giving me those vibes. It's also giving kind of like A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch vibes, like A Witch's Guide to Fate Dating a Demon, those books. It just sounds so cute. I just love the sound of it. I love the cover. I love the vibes. And it's also bookish, which I love. We love a bookish, witchy, fantasy, cozy romance. All that. I'm very excited. And one that I feel like is kind of in the same vein, we have got the Woodsmoke Women's Book of Spells by Rachel Greenlaw. So I didn't really know anything about this book when I requested the proof from the publisher. I just love the witchy vibes. But this is, I feel like this is going to kind of take the world by storm. So it is being published in October, and it says, there is an old tale that weaves through the mountain town of Woodsmoke. It whispers of a stranger who appears as the snow falls, only to disappear in spring, leaving behind a broken heart. Carrie Morgan expects trouble when she returns to Woodsmoke after 10 years. What she does not predict is the beautiful stranger who walks into her life with the first frost, and with whom Carrie begins to fall in love. Bound to her family's book of spells and a deep magic that flows from the mountains, Carrie's family warn her that her new love is a curse who will disappear when the frost falls. If Carrie is to embrace the power a Morgan woman carries, she must trade something in return. But is lifting a curse worth any price? It sounds so cute. Look at it. It just sounds so sweet. Sounds like it could be really emotional as well. I'm really intrigued. And I do feel like this is one that is just gonna absolutely blow up when it comes out. Hopefully I get to this one before it's published. Moving on to kind of like dark academia vibes now. So I've got Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, but I am going to have to reread Ninth House, which is the first book in this, I don't know if it's a duology, first book in this series anyway. That is a dark academia adult book. It was Leigh Bardugo's first adult book, and it was intense. Like very heavy going, very slow paced, and dealing with like very, very heavy topics. I'd recommend just looking up a list of trigger warnings because there was a lot of trigger warnings in that book, so please do be careful when you're going into it. But it is perfect autumn vibes at the same time. How I would describe it is perfect November vibes. Like, you know the vibes of November? That is Ninth House. I don't quite know how else to explain it. But I read Ninth House a few years ago now, maybe 2020. I can't remember, so at least 2-3 years, and I was waiting for the paperback of Hellbent because I wanted them to match, of course. But it means I've kind of forgotten everything that's happened in Ninth House, and there was so much that happened in Ninth House that I don't feel like I'll properly get into Hellbent if I don't reread Ninth House. And I'm not mad about rereading Ninth House at all. I actually think I might enjoy it more because I'll not be so taken aback by what happens in it. I think I might be able to enjoy it more in that sense, so hopefully I will. So I need to reread Ninth House, but then read Hellbent. In Ninth House and Hellbent, you're following Alex Stern, who is a member of the New Year at Yale, but then she is tasked with monitoring Yale's secret societies. So that's kind of where like the dark academia vibes and all of that come in. And then there's a dead girl on campus, and she's the only person who's willing to like look deeper and see what's going on with these societies. And then she also, I think he's her mentor. There is Darlington. We love Darlington. And there's also like demons and all sorts. There's a lot that goes on in Ninth House, so I definitely need to reread it before I read Hellbent. But they're perfect for autumn, so yeah, I'm not mad about having to reread it. Again, with the dark academia vibes, we have got Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Ayimide. This is the second book from the author of Ace of Spades, which I love. That is an incredible YA thriller that deals with eugenics and racism and there's a lot going on in that one. I read it in one sitting though, flew through it, absolutely incredible, blew me away. The author's writing style is really, really immersive, and I was just in awe of it basically. So I'm really excited to read the second book from her. In this one you have Sade, or I'm pretty sure it's pronounced something differently, but I can't remember how you pronounce it, so I'm going to say Sade, but I know that that's not actually right. It's a new girl at the prestigious Alfred Nobel Academy. She has no idea what to expect of her mysterious new boarding school, but she certainly didn't imagine her roommate Elizabeth to go missing on her first night, or for people to think that she had something to do with it. Suddenly everyone is talking about her, including the unholy trinity, the three most popular girls at school. And then a student is found dead. It's clear there's more to Alfred Nobel Academy and its students than she could have ever imagined. But secrets lurk around every corner. Secrets that rival even her own. Sounds like it's going to be intense. Another YA thriller, mysteries, maybe a bit of like haunting or something. I think it's going to be perfect for autumn, and I'm really excited to read this. I feel like this will really get me in the autumn mood. I'm excited. I'm very excited to read this. We then have Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. This is coming out in October. I know that this is on so many people's most anticipated releases list. It's on mine. I was so lucky to receive a proof from the publisher. Dark academia once again. The first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever. For 20 years, Sayona has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible. To become the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistrate at the University of Magics and Industry. Sayona finally achieves her ambition and becomes a High Mage. She finds her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues are determined to make her feel unwelcome, and instead of a qualified lab assistant, they give her a janitor. What neither Sayona or her peers realise is that her taciturn assistant was not always a janitor. 10 years ago, he was a nomadic hunter who lost his family on their perilous journey from the wild plains to the city. But now he sees the opportunity to understand the forces that decimated his tribe, drove him from his homeland, and keep the privileged in power. At first, mage and outsider have a fractious relationship, but working together they uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever, if it doesn't get them killed first. That sounds incredible. I know M.L. Wang is meant to be an amazing author, have an amazing writing style. They wrote The Sword of Kaigan, which I haven't read, and I believe it was independently published or self-published at first, but I'm hoping it's been traditionally picked up by the traditional publisher now that Blood Over Brighthaven has been picked up by Penguin. So hopefully The Sword of Kaigan will come out traditionally published and I can get that matching Blood Over Brighthaven, because I'm hopefully going to get a finished copy of this at some point as well. But yeah, this is on everyone's most anticipated releases list of the year. I believe that if you haven't heard of this book, you're living under a rock. Put this one on your radar. Go read about it, read some more, because I feel like this is going to be insane. Another one that's going to take the world by storm. I feel like we've we haven't even seen the best to come yet from Emma Wang. Another dark academia book that I feel like is gonna be everywhere when it comes out in October, An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. Alexis Henderson is the author of House of Hunger, I believe it was called. I haven't read either of her previous books, but this one just looks fascinating. I'm obsessed. I keep thinking about it. I really just need to pick it up. It says, for those born with magic in their blood. Lennon Carter's life is falling apart. That is, until she gets a mysterious phone call inviting her to sit the entrance exam for somewhere very few have heard of, Drayton College, a school of magic hidden in a secret pocket of Savannah. Lennon has been chosen because, like everyone else at the school, she is special. She possesses the innate gift of persuasion, the ability to wield her will like a weapon and use it to control others, and in rare cases, matter itself. After passing the grueling exam, Lennon must now learn how to master this devastating power. While persuasion takes a heavy toll on her body and her mind, she is captivated by all that surrounds her. Her studies, Drayton's lush, moss-draped campus, her brilliant classmates, and most of all by Dante, the charismatic advisor who both intimidates and enamors her. But as Lennon becomes more adept at wielding her uncanny abilities, she uncovers more about the unsettling history of Drayton and Dante's tragic and violent past, and is increasingly disturbed by what she finds. Can Lennon embrace the ultimate power without succumbing to corruption and darkness? That sounds insane. What? Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this. I need to pick this up. This is like perfect autumn vibes. Again, I feel like November vibes, but hopefully I'm going to read it before November because obviously I want to read it before it actually is released. And we're down to the final 2 books, thank God, because this jumper is so itchy. I'm not good with itchy jumpers, if you can't tell. The second to last book that we've got has just been released. The finished copies are stunning. Can't believe I didn't read it before it was released. It is Lucy Undying by Kirsten White. This is, I don't think it's a retelling of Dracula, but more of a sequel or companion or whatever you want to call it to Dracula. It is about one of Dracula's very first victims. So it's a vampire book, which means it's perfect for spooky season. And Kirsten White has written quite a few books before, but I haven't read any of her books before. It is an epic and seductive gothic fantasy. Her name was written in the pages of someone else's story. Lucy Westenra was one of Dracula's first victims, but her death was only the beginning. Lucy rose from the grave a vampire and has spent her immortal life trying to escape from Dracula's clutches and trying to discover who she really is and what she truly wants. Her undead life takes an unexpected turn when, in 21st century London, she meets another woman who is also yearning to break free from her past. Iris's family has built a health empire based on a sinister secret, and they'll do anything to stay in power. Lucy has long believed she would never love again, but she finds herself compelled by the charming Iris, while Iris is mesmerised by the confident and glamorous Lucy. But their intense connection and blossoming love is threatened by forces from without. Iris's mother won't let go of her without a fight, and Lucy's past still has fangs. Dracula is on the prowl again. Lucy Westenra has been a tragically murdered teen, a lonesome adventurer, and a fearsome hunter, but happiness always eluded her. Can she find the strength to destroy Dracula once and for all, or will her heart once again be her undoing? I love the sound of that. I'm obsessed with the cover. A lot of people find the cover really weird, but I love it. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. I think it is like one of the best covers I've ever seen. Like, that is so distinctive. I think it's really, really cool. But yeah, I love a vampire story. I love a Dracula story, even though I haven't read Dracula. Actually, I do really want to read that this year. But yeah, I haven't read Dracula, but I love a good vampire story. I love good gothic fantasy. And it's sapphic. So it sounds amazing. The final one that I've got is kind of a more traditional thriller, which you might be thinking, why? Because you don't read that. But it is Then Things Went Dark by B. Fitzgerald. So this is the first adult book and thriller from the author of Girl, Goddess, Queen and the End Crowns All, both of which I haven't read but really, really want to read. And I actually met the author a few weeks ago. She came to our store. She was so lovely. And she gave us proofs of her adult thriller that's coming out. So obviously I want to read it and support her. She's from a town really near me, so I'm, all about that. But this is about a murder on a reality TV show, like live murder. No murder has ever had more witnesses. 6 people land on a desert island ready to make their reality show debut. The contestants are hungry to prove themselves, the stakes are high, and losing is not an option. But 3 weeks and 18 episodes later, 5 of the 6 contestants sit in a Portuguese police station and none of them are winners. Because 12 million people were watching when Reese Sutton died on camera and someone must pay for the crime. The best friend, the rival, the girlfriend, the lover, and the sworn enemy are left standing, and of course, no one is talking. But how do you keep secrets when the world has been watching? Especially when, just a day before his murder, Reese was the most hated man on television. That sounds insane. That sounds amazing. I'm kind of a sucker for British reality TV, like Strictly, Bake Off, all of those. I love a good British reality TV show. So I'm kind of obsessed with the concept, and I hope I love it. I haven't obviously read any of B. Fitzgerald's books before, but I know her writing is meant to be stunning. I'm really excited to read her Greek mythology books, and I'm really excited to read her adult thriller book. Hopefully I love it. You know, as someone who doesn't read a lot of thrillers at all, like barely any, unless they're young adult, this is a change of pace for me, but I'm excited for it and I keep thinking about this book, so I just need to get around to reading it soon. So those were the books that I want to read this autumn, this spooky season. Hopefully I will get to read some of these in September and have a whole new refreshed TBR for October. And yeah, let me know what books are on your to read list for spooky season, for autumn. Are there any autumnal vibes books that you think I should be picking up this September? I feel like autumn spooky season runs from like mid-September to mid-November, and then that's when Christmas starts. So we've got a little while to read through all of these. So yeah, let me know what's on your TBR for autumn, for spooky season. And if you want to follow me on my Goodreads or my Bookstagram to keep up to date with what I'm reading in real time, the link is down in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you in another video soon. Bye!